Good morning, everybody. Today, we have a mix of corporate planners, agencies and venues attending. We all want to see our industry return and want to know what we can expect over the coming months. Well, finally, we have some clarity and a roadmap. Let's hope for some financial support to take us back to delivering brilliant live events and amazing experiences. I have no doubt that the thirst and the appetite for live events will return at pace as soon as the cloud of fear starts to diminish. Today, we're not looking backwards at all, but only forwards and helping to create our own path, revival, not survival. That's my new mantra, and I am so determined to achieve that. We've got a packed programme for you today, and already the questions are coming in fast and furious. We will be covering the majority of things today. However, any questions that don't get answered, we will revert back with the answers direct following the event. But first, I'm delighted to introduce the Right Honourable Nigel Huddleston, the MP representing our industry in government, to kick things off with some positive words.
Hello, I'm Nigel Huddleston. I'm the Minister for Tourism, and along with my colleague Paul Scully and others in the Bays Department, I work very closely with the hospitality and the events industry. And in fact, just this morning had a conference call with those sectors and the broader tourism sector to discuss the Prime Minister's plan roadmap for recovery out of coronavirus that was announced on the 22nd of February. Now, I hope that that announcement has given you all some reassurance and can help enable you to plan for the future a little bit more effectively after what has been an incredibly difficult year. I am well aware how financially hard the sector has been hit, and also this extends to the entire supply chain. Hopefully, you've all been able to access some, if not all, of the government support measures. And if you haven't been able to access many of the measures, I do appeal to you. In fact, I've stated in the House of Commons that I expect local government to be very generous to this sector in terms of the discretionary grants that are available at the moment. If you've not been able to access previous grants, please do consider applying to those, and that applies to the supply chain as well. But I know that we all want actually to recover and get back to business rather than relying on government support. And that is something that we want to work with you to do, and why events like today's event are so useful. The sector has proven over many years to be incredibly resilient as well as incredibly innovative. And during the coronavirus crisis, we've seen some great innovations, particularly with virtual events and with digital offerings. And I know Dale and the team at the DRP Group, which I'm very proud to say is in my constituency, very well. And I'm always amazed by their innovation and the incredible skill that they've got. So hopefully you're all learning new ways today as well of working. But as I said, I know that what you want to do is get back to business. Government will be doing what it can to support you. I hope that the roadmap has enabled you to plan with more confidence. I know that this is still going to be a rocky few weeks and months ahead. But I'm very confident about the sector. We will be developing a tourism recovery plan, and the event sector will be part of that plan. I'm very keen to champion the sector for both domestic purposes, but also the really important role that the event sector plays in terms of the international offering, and is a huge contributor then to inbound tourism. Millions of people a year come to our globally fantastic events. But I hope today's session's well. Sorry I couldn't be there with you live, albeit virtual, but I look forward to meeting many of you at some point in the not too distant future. And I hope the rest of the day goes well.
Thank you, Nigel. Well, getting back to business, isn't that exactly what we all want to be doing? So let's hope for some quality practical help and recognition for our industry in the budget later today. The extension of the furlough has already been very welcome, and it's nice to see it going to the end of September, I believe, which just came in late last night. I never thought when we had our first broadcast here at the DRP Group studios that we would be back again in 9 months' time. Can you believe it? Well, what a year we've had. Whilst the impact of the pandemic has been devastating to so many people who have lost their loved ones, and to our industry, which is one of the worst hit financially, and with the loss of some great people to other industries, we now need to look forward and look for the positive gems that will become the legacy of the last year. As always, our industry is a very positive one, as Nigel said, full of creativity and resilience. I know I personally have had to depend on some of those inner resources during this horrible time. Our legacies are both important and will be good to see their positive impact on the industry. Sustainability is a big one. It's very positive. I do not believe our society will allow ourselves to go backwards on what we have achieved in the last year. I feel we've created an amazing foundation to build on, and I believe we will see corporate governance reflect this in the company policies as we emerge and deliver live events. Also, acceleration to adapt digital transformation and e-commerce solutions, reducing waste, refining our processes and delivering quality service whilst allowing us to focus on the more personal, which is what we're all about. Both of these legacies will demonstrate a real change to our industry, how we work, interact and deliver. We will be different, but I genuinely think our industry has been ready and willing for this to happen for a long time. Now is the time to embrace a different way of working that is modern, sustainable and intuitive. Most of all, it allows us to save waste and be more productive. I'm looking forward to sharing our ideas with you on this today, and I hope you enjoy it. Over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Jackie, for that introduction. As Jackie's already mentioned, we have a packed agenda today. And as you know, events like this are not just delivered by one or two people, but a whole team. And I would first like to talk to you about that team that have contributed to today's event. So we have Jenny Harding, the Managing Director of Trinity Event Solutions, who looks after more than 4,500 events per annum and is actually in charge of our technical department. She will be talking to you today and walking you through the RFP tool. Next, we have Karen Benson, who champions our independent venues on Edge. She will be showing you how quick and easy it is to carry out a search on the new redesigned site. Claudine Edgecombe, Sales and Marketing Director, who I'm sure you will agree has done a fantastic job in promoting this event to you all, particularly on our social media channels. She'll be just demonstrating what the engagement opportunities Edge has to offer. Richard Kenyon, who is actually on the sofa with us today, is our commercial director, has worked with some of our biggest clients. And he'll be talking you through the analytics section on what they are actually showing you. I will now pass over to Catherine Jordan, the Edge editor, who has done some fantastic articles recently, and she'll be talking about what the future landscape looks like.
Good morning, everyone. So what does the future hold for conferences, meetings and events? There's much more discussion from companies talking about when their events will be live again, rather than whether they will be. Everyone's definitely more confident now the vaccine programme is rolling out successfully. In fact, 73% of event organisers believe that vaccines will lead to a quicker recovery for the industry. There's also much more discussion about how the events will happen. Some countries are now opening up for conferences, such as Singapore and Switzerland. There was a test conference in the Netherlands last week. Everyone had to have a negative COVID test before attending. Temperatures were taken on arrival. They were divided into separate groups using different entrances and washrooms, and they were fitted with movement sensors. Some had to wear a mask and some sat behind screens. All have to take another COVID test 5 days afterwards. The Dutch government has announced a €300 million cancellation fund to allow organisers to plan for events in 2021. It's for events of more than 3,000 people and is similar to funds already announced by Germany, Austria and Switzerland. Mobile World Congress, which was cancelled last year, is planning their conference as a live event this year. The number of attendees has been halved to 50,000 with testing, safety measures and various restrictions. At the moment, holding an international trade show of that size in 4 months' time seems ambitious, but we will see. The UK is well placed to bounce back as the hospitality industry has clear standards in place and a high level of the local population is vaccinated. So how will conferences and meetings change in the future? The question, is this meeting necessary, will become normal, but negative feelings towards Zoom and Teams are increasing. There will be a balance between being productive at home or at the desk and spending time travelling. So does this mean there'll be fewer, smaller meetings? Probably not, as people do want a different experience to meeting via their phone, laptop or PC. Large meetings are expected to be popular and international events will still happen. There's likely to be more flexibility for the attendees and create an experience that they're comfortable with. The successful events will be the ones that create a different experience for the live audience and still attract people to attend in person for fear of missing out. Businesses have found it extremely difficult in lockdown to make new sales contacts, and there's a real need for social connections and meeting in person. When selecting a venue, there's more demand for outside space. People need to feel confident to mix again and want more space and privacy to minimise contact with strangers and relax in their own environment. So when will we see recovery? The signs are that groups are coming back, more strongly at the end of this year. The majority of event organisers still believe that we should meet if we can do so safely, and all the restrictions and protocols are followed. A US survey has shown that there has been a regular decline in confidence in virtual events since the survey was started last year. The more planners produce virtual events or attend them, the less they think that they'll be successful from a business perspective. Only 21% of planners are currently planning hybrid events in the near future. In the same survey, 2/3 said that they would require masks and adherence to protocols at all meetings, and only 22% will require proof of a recent negative test and 21% proof of a vaccine. 87% of companies in our sector are using the job retention scheme. 38% of them have made staff redundant, and 13% have made more than 81% of their workforce redundant. 58% of employees at venues and 60% of employees at hotels are currently on furlough. In the event supplier sector, around 35% are on furlough. So there will definitely be a skill shortage when our industry returns. And we know from conversations with our clients, venues and hotels that they need help, which is the strength of Edge Venues. In summary, our message from Edge is that we're looking forward to getting back to the new normal, whatever challenges it brings. The events industry will change, and we believe it will be for the better, and we will come through this with a more focused, flexible, and a stronger industry as a result. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Catherine. Thank you so much indeed. It's great to hear what's happening abroad. A lot of those research figures were coming from research that was conducted earlier on in February, at the end of January, February. And one of the most difficult situations that we're currently in is the landscape is changing on such a regular basis now that we received more research last night, which is even changing further what's going on. And I spoke yesterday to a major hotel group who were telling me that in the US, they're already showing signs of really accelerating meetings and events already. And I was surprised. She said it was like COVID never existed, whereas we're super careful here. Even though we're making such incredible positive strides, our industry is taking a cautious look at how we're getting back, but we've got a clear roadmap now. Tracy, how do you feel that this is reflected now on recent stuff that we've seen from the AEO?
Yeah, the recent information we've received from the AEO is with regards to the 17th of May when hotels can open, and also that they can hold events up to 50% of their capacity. But still adhering to the 1+ metre of social distancing, and maybe they may have to also include the lateral testing as well. So it does tie in with what the slides are actually saying as well.
It's interesting, the lateral testing though, Tracy, isn't it? We had that today ourselves when we arrived here at the DRP group. And I must say, you know, it's the first time I've ever had a test, and it was quite frightening, but it was really great because we now feel completely safe here in this environment. And I know the DRP group have worked very hard on facilitating that. Richard, what's your thoughts on the slides there from Catherine?
I think it's safe to say that over the last 12 months, we've seen a number of peaks and troughs. And generally speaking, these have tracked in line with how the feeling is outside in the outside world and obviously the sound bites we're getting from the government with developments and things. But I think up until sort of middle of February, we were quite strong in terms of the engagement with our clients. We've been very careful to keep in touch with them during this whole period. But absolutely, we've seen a huge acceleration since the update on the 22nd of February, where confidence seems to be coming back. And actually, we've got some real serious interest now in the quarter 3 and quarter 4 of this year and into 2022.
Yeah, quarter 4 is really, really going at some pace now, isn't it? It's a mixture of rebookings and transfer of the bookings that had been postponed and cancelled.
Absolutely. I think one of the problems we're going to have is actually the struggle for availability, because there's been actually that much has been displaced from 2020 into 2021 and potentially beyond, depending on the size of the event and how that sort of is made up. So really, it will be a case of struggling for that availability when the time comes.
We could be doing an update every single week by the looks of things as we go along. Tracy.
Thank you, Jackie. So what have we been doing at Edge for the last year? Well, let's take a look at 1 year on. Well, let's start with Edge in numbers. We delivered our first ever broadcast in this very studio back in July. And as Jackie said, who would have thought we would still be here now? We wanted to continue to engage with our users and with our venues to ensure that you could see the insights into what was happening in the industry and actually what we were doing with Edge. We also delivered 6 webinars and had 550 attendees. We covered some real insights into digital marketing, and we demonstrated how venues could get the best out of Edge and really showcase their own hotels. Our team have taken part in more than 50 destination webinars. This has been really key for them to keep up to date with what is going on in the industry and also to really keep those employees involved that are still on furlough. 10 team members have spent 12 weeks on digital marketing training. This has been key for us because this has really helped us to understand what we need to do with Edge to ensure that we are giving the best user journey, also the best opportunities, and also to increase our traffic to the site. We now have over 2,500 site visit reports present on the site, and we can also upload new ones. This is a real insight for our buyers to have a look to see what is actually, from a buyer's perspective, the hotel is looking like. We have more than 500 updates on our brands. This is great because this is information that sits on their venue card and really helps a buyer to see where they position that brand and whether that brand is actually right for that event that they are looking to hold. So on top of that, we also have other things that we've been doing, so further development. So back early in lockdown, our first development was to add the health and safety area. This meant that you could all upload your health and safety policies and capacities to ensure that our buyers knew how their event was going to proceed. We also added an option where you could tell us, is your venue open? We need to know if your venue is open for business. You may have your doors physically closed, but this does not mean that you are not taking inquiries. So ensure you don't miss out on any of those opportunities. There was a new quick view. At a glance, you can actually see where all the photos on a carousel of that venue and all the pricing that is attached to that venue as well. The RFP tool was launched last year, and it allows agents and corporates to create and manage their RFPs. This is a very quick and simple tool, which also auto-populates all the information that is currently sat in Edge, which then therefore cutting down on the cost of sale. We have added some additional features to our advanced search, and mainly refined for London. This allows you to select a tube station, and that can either be by the name of the tube station or the zone. And we can also select a location within London. So this could be an area such as Covent Garden, really allowing you to redefine your searches further. We've also added a map. So every time you do a search, all of those venues that sit in that search will appear on that map, which you can then click into to see further details. Now, video is the future, as we all know. and this is really key. You can now upload a video onto your venue card. Now, this could be a video that could be a site visit walkthrough, which could really show how you deal with the new COVID procedures. It could be a brand update, or it could be an interview, which could really bring your venue to life. And finally, the new user experience based on a redesign to deliver best results. And with, as already mentioned, the new digital marketing training we've all had, this has really helped to deliver this. So there's much more to come, as I'm sure you know there will be. But in the meantime, we're going to pass over to Richard, who is going to look at who is using Edge. Thank you, Richard.
So looking at the Edge user base and excluding those users who manage their own venues, we have a pretty even split of professional agency buyers and corporate buyers, with 51% for the agency sector. Within the corporate sector, we have the largest made up of entertainment and communications, but we also have services and agriculture as well. And in terms of the emerging sectors, we've seen real growth in services, construction and agriculture, which has come up 12% in sort of pretty much the 18 months since 2019. But we've also seen 6% growth in the entertainment sector, and also growth in government, charity and utilities as well. So the first quarter of 2020 was really quite strong. We actually had over £30 million worth of opportunity pass through the site, which was actually spread across over 5,000 inquiries and delivered a total of just over 900 direct bookings of an average value of £6,000. I think it's sort of fair to say that had we had the rest of the year, then we'd be looking back on some really, really quite strong figures, with growth coming month on month. I've just popped some metrics at the bottom of that just to sort of denote really the number of venues that were appearing in searches, the number of gallery views, telephone clicks, etc. And then the final nod really is to, as we touched on before really, this acceleration in growth which we've seen in February, but particularly since the update on the 22nd. So we actually have an increase of just over 50% in page views, and the users are up sort of close to 40% as well. So the future is looking very bright. There's no doubt of whether the industry will come back, but it's more of a question of when that's going to come.
Thank you, Richard. Jackie, so looking at those slides, is there anything there that really surprises you?
Well, it reassures me in a way, because what we're really seeing there is a change of habit. People are now looking to digital tools to find venues, to explore. Even though perhaps they're not going to place a booking for a while, they're still in planning mode and they're looking to see how best and what's going to be available for them. But they're looking quite deeply as well, because they're actually on the site for over 12 minutes and really looking into a lot of the detail on each of the venues they're searching. I believe they're looking at about 5 venues at each time. However, with regard to how they're using and who's using it, I have seen a change in the last couple of weeks. I've seen the pharma sector start to move quite dramatically, because they were one of the first sectors to lock down because they didn't want to exacerbate the problems of the pandemic. But they're starting to plan, and they've always been a great friend to our industry, as you know only too well. But also the law firms are starting to plan as well. However, they're more global events, so it'll be interesting to see how they pan out. But they're mainly looking at mid-22 on that. But then the financial sector are starting to come up with some quite short-term lead time bookings. So I'm really quite positive about it. And in this day, you know, how can you be really positive? But I think with digital tools, the data tells you so much so early about the trends that are happening well before they happen.
Thank you, Jackie. Now we're going to pass over to Karen Benson, and she's going to show us how the site is being used.
This demonstrates an agent's or booker's journey on the site. In an advanced search, I can enter a destination, such as London, and with the new and extra feature of the London location, such as Knightsbridge, or to the nearest tube, to the pins on the map where you can easily see a venue's pricing. With a quick search, it is simple and easy. You can either enter a location, a venue name, and once you have your results, you can see at a glance all the information you might need to know, such as site visits. You can find out what other agents and bookers have experienced whilst visiting the venue, which is such invaluable information, to the new Quick View, which is a benefit to licensed venues only. At a glance, you can get a feel of the venue through a carousel of moving pictures, an overview, and some guideline prices. This helps you as the booker to make a quick decision whether you want to find out more about the venue by going into the venue's full profile. Selecting venues to compare is quick and easy. With the venues side by side, you can see any special offers, you can compare prices, and see any commission deals. This is where using the engagement tools can really make a venue stand out from the crowd. You can buy it now, or you can view the full venue page. But most importantly, you can share your findings with other colleagues and get their feedback, or perhaps more importantly, with stakeholders that have a vested interest and really care about the final selection of venues. You can even send it to them with your agency's logo. Once you have had your feedback and you are happy with the final selection, you can then send them off to the venue to ask for a proposal. This has also saved the venues receiving unnecessary requests for quotes. So as you can see, using Edge with an advanced or quick search is time efficient, quick, and easy to do.
That may have been your first insight into the new redesign of Edge. So, Richard, which part is your favourite from this new redesign?
Well, I'm pleased with all of the site designs in general. I think the whole it's given it a real uplift, but certainly as a buyer myself, I particularly like the Quick View, which provides licensed venue with the opportunity to really make the venue stand out from the crowd. That can be sort of short descriptions, some guideline prices, but also if they've got any special offers on there. And then I think perhaps the most important thing is, and remembering that the Quick View sits within the listing page rather than jumping off the page, is that you actually get access to that really rich image gallery as well. So you can very quickly see whether you want to include that within any of the proposals that you'd like to run past the site.
Thanks, Richard. That's actually one of my favourite parts as well. So what about you, Jackie? What's your favourite part?
Well, I'm a typical agent. I want to move very, very quickly. And I remember the days when we'd have to do a lot of researching and then send off to all the hotels, then send it to a client and just be told, no, I don't like that venue. So the shortlist, compare, and then share piece is invaluable. It's so quick. I can send that off to a client immediately after taking a brief and saying, these are the kind of venues I'm thinking of. What do you think? And it really can save me an awful lot of time.
Thanks for that, Jackie. And that is actually part of our original designs for Edge. So that has been a key part of what Edge was wanting to deliver. So now let's pass over to Jenny and look at the RFP tool.
Today's event organisers are time poor, and they don't want to visit multiple places to facilitate the venue procurement process. At Edge Venues, we have it all in one place. Our fully automated RFP process simplifies booking an event for everyone. From the wealth of information Edge provides, videos, offers, data, you can easily select the venues you wish to compare and quote. The guideline prices ensure you can check you're in the right ballpark. The inquiry form is a simple 3-step process, but sharing as much information as possible helps the venue provide better proposals. The venue will receive an email with the key criteria, allowing them to quickly check if they're able to accommodate the event. Everything loaded into a venue's profile facilitates the quick and easy response to an inquiry. Using drop-down boxes to select packages, the rooms they want to offer, leaving them time to sell themselves and add the best prices. The venue will be rewarded for a quick response by appearing in pole position and giving the buyer the final bits of information to make the buying decision. Venue profiles provide comprehensive data up front, saving time and making sure you selected the venues that are the right fit. The RFP portal facilitates everything in one place, backed up by email alerts, so site visit requests, questions, negotiation. Let Edge Venues help you do better business together.
Thank you, Jenny, for talking us through the RFP tool, which I'm sure you agree is a very quick and simple tool to use. It's more important than ever to position yourself with quality marketing, and therefore I am really excited to announce our Kickstart offer. This is for £365 a year or £1 a day. You can get access to all these engagement tools. This is only available for a limited period of March and April, but it is open to all current licensees and new licensees. So what does 365 days of marketing really look like? The next demonstration highlights the engagement opportunities available on Edge and is shown to you by Claudine.
Edge Venues is not just a venue sourcing, analytics and booking platform. It is also an impressive engagement tool, allowing quality decisions to be made with great data, but also with a deep understanding of the real value when choosing a venue for a particular event. It's all about having your finger on the pulse and letting the buyer know as much as they can about your venue story, the best rates and offers, and the real personality of your venue and the team who will be so important in the delivery of their event. It's important to stand out from the crowd and have a voice as a venue. Along with lots of industry news, trends and insights from our Edge editorial team, headed up by Catherine Jordan, we encourage our licensed venues to share your stories, tell us your hopes and visions to really ensure that you stand out from the crowd. Our engagement landscape is wide and varied, and most of all unlimited for all of our licensed venues. It allows you to really engage during the whole buying and decision-making process. Events as they return will send out big statements within their company, and the choice of venue will need to be justified more rigorously. Thus, our buyer wants to buy well. It allows you as a venue to share amazing offers clearly visible during the consideration of their final shortlist and proposals, as they are also visible on your venue profile pages. Professional buyers from the agency sector can view business opportunity, the renovation news, and the who's who of the venue. Both direct corporate planners and agents also have our site visit reports, which are added from the buyer community to really add value to the overall experience. As they say, information and knowledge is power, and our buyers, be they direct corporate or via a professional agency, will get that in abundance from Edge, which is why they come back time and time again and spend time on the site viewing all of the information available to them. Edge is where it's at.
Thank you, Claudine, for that insight. I'm sure you will agree that £1 a day really gives you some fantastic opportunities on Edge. So, as an agency buyer, Richard, what engagement opportunities really grab you from what Claudine was talking about?
I think short of giving too much away before my piece coming up, as Claudine details, there's a number of opportunities to be able to engage through the site. And really, it's to make the most of those opportunities. As a buyer myself, it's nice to have a story to be able to tell, to hear about the story from the venue itself. And certainly talking to our clients, it's an opportunity to be able to engage with them and talk more about the venue itself. So absolutely to make the most of those opportunities.
Thanks, Richard. And Jackie, what about you?
Well, I'm a hotel manager by trade, and my big passion is hotels and venues. So I love to see the passion that comes from the venues themselves, allowing them to stand out and share their stories, their teams, that it's all about people at hotels, and just making the venue proposition personal, making it look like this is the venue for you every single time. So really making that venue come alive through the portal is fantastic. It's a great opportunity for venues.
Thanks, Jackie. Now we're going to let Richard let us know what Edge Analytics are really telling you.
Advances in technology have provided the transparency and the tools people need to see results for just about everything in the modern world. At Edge Venues, we have invested in our analytics to offer a window into the activity and the behaviour of event bookers to help ensure that every opportunity can be maximised. As one of the most powerful benefits of being a licensed venue, our extensive suite of fully exportable site metrics provide valuable insights, allowing you to identify what is important to bookers and how best to serve this to them. The measures within your complete dashboard are designed specifically for both individual venues and groups. Starting with the snapshot, this provides a current year-to-date summary of sales activity and search impressions. your level of engagement with the closed user community and the audience that are viewing your venue. The analytics demonstrate that engagements directly drive activity. The higher your profile score and the more you engage through the platform, the more activity venues receive. The stats prove that licensed venues are up to 17 times more visible than a non-licensed venue. Key engagements detail when people have clicked on your phone number, web and social links. Venue search data confirms how people are finding you, frequency return in searches and the ranking, number of click-throughs, how users are finding you, when and on what devices, crucially which industry sectors are generating your activity and what competitor sets they are also considering. See what people are doing on your page, for how long, and are they making inquiries? How much information have you got to keep them on the page? Are they new or are they returning visitors? Audience statistics confirm which industry types are looking at you. See who else the user viewed when looking at your venue, where they are located, and what devices people are using to find you. Other measures include aspects such as the number of times your venue page has been viewed and the average session duration within your specified date range. The engagement section provides full drill down into all of the engagements your venue receives, providing an opportunity to see where your interest is coming from and what detail is valuable to your customers. This allows you to identify any gaps in your data and to focus on the areas that will deliver the best return. Finally, the summary of sales activity details who is inquiring, who is converting, and how much they are spending. Track the number of inquiries you are receiving, when these arrived, your conversion rate, the value, and the industry sectors presenting those opportunities. Edge provides a toolkit to better market your venue in an efficient and cost-effective manner at the right time to the right audience. Edge Venues is here to support you so that you never miss an opportunity.
Fantastic. Thank you, Richard. Well, we've all seen what Edge has been doing, but it's been doing for the corporate planners and for the agencies, and it's free for them to use and to book through, so which is fantastic. However, all that data and analytics is a great tool for venues, and it's exportable. It allows people and business development for hotels to be much, much smarter. So we've gone to our customers to find out what their thoughts are for the future and how they're finding information and what information is important to them and is growing in importance as they start to come back and plan their events. So we've got 5 of our key buyers. I want to thank them completely for taking the time out of their busy schedules to share with you, with everybody, a real honest idea and insight into what's happening for them as they go further forward and plan for the future. So over to our customers.
We help companies launch and run exhibitions and awards and other events. I've been working with Jackie and the Trinity team for over 15 years, and they've always been a great company to work with. When Jackie spoke to me about launching Edge, I thought it was a great idea, especially as venues and hotels can put up a certain amount of information free. However, as someone that asks a lot of questions about each venue, it is imperative that the venues and hotels put up as much information as possible. This makes the decision process a lot easier. I'm not having to keep running backwards and forwards. It saves time and money. Over the last year, however, I've spent more time cancelling and rebooking venues and hotels through Trinity before deposits were due, which, to be honest, isn't great for anyone. This then brings me on to hotels and venues offering flexible contracts, which seems to be a sore point at the moment. If we can't find venues who will work with us in the current uncertain climate, i.e. assure us of refunds if COVID means an event cannot take place, we will not expose our clients by booking venues in advance. We want to make those bookings, so if venues can show flexibility in their contracts, they will be the ones with forward bookings. Something needs to change to encourage us to make those bookings. Looking at physical exhibitions and award events this year, I can't see anything really happening in the short to medium term. So from now through to August, I'd be surprised if any award dinners take place. You might have 1 or 2 shows running, but they will most probably be outdoor events. Most people I'm speaking to believe that shows will start again at the back end of September, but with COVID safety in place. The big question is, will we be able to hold award dinners? Can we get 500 plus people in one room? At the moment, no one has the answer. So would you book a venue or hotel that is not offering a full refund? I'll leave that thought with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne Rouse and I'm the Director of the British Boarding Schools Network. We all know it's been a really tough year this year, particularly for the events and hospitality sector. But I'd like to reassure you that our delegates are desperate to get back to live events and we look forward to that time. Thank you to Trinity Events this year for everything that they've done to support us and to help keep us positive. Jackie and the team have done a fantastic job. Their Edge Venue Tools is a great platform. It really does save us time and money as event organisers when looking for venues. If I had one piece of advice, it would be this. Please use the time right now to build back smarter and better. That means making sure that your profile is filled in and provides us as event organisers with all the information we need, including all the small details that really empowers us to make an informed decision when we're looking for venues. If we have everything we need on your venue, it means we don't go and look at competitors and we're more likely to put the business with you. So spend the time wisely. As events move forward and we're able to start going back, it's going to be important that we work closely with venues to have all the information that we need. That means flexible contracts, good communication and secure COVID procedures, which means we can build confidence in our delegates and ensure that they'll come back to our venues with confidence. I wish you all well and we look forward to being back at live events. And I can reassure you, we're planning a very big party. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Martin Shaw from the Association of Financial Mutuals and I'm talking to you today from a lane just round the side of my house in the snow. We're a smaller trade association and we do a lot of events for our members and a lot of meetings, and we work very closely with the team at Trinity Events Management and Edge Events to help us to pull together events, to arrange venues, to make sure that we've negotiated a good contract and that everything on the day works really well. We're really delighted with the service that we get from Edge Venues and Trinity Events Management, and for some of our biggest events we really couldn't deliver the events without all of the support, advice and encouragement we get from the team as well. So if you're not already working with Edge, then I hope you will be doing soon. And one other thought before I leave, we may be living in cold, gloomy conditions at the moment, but I think in a few months' time we'll be starting to get back to some semblance of normal, and I hope that that means that your business will be able to thrive and that in 12 months' time the things we'll have to worry about most may just be the great old British weather.
Edge Venues really is a fantastic tool for a corporate venue booker. There's so much included in it. It's all very easily laid out in front of you. It's easy to use, it's intuitive, and it will really be an asset and make things an awful lot easier to corporate bookers. Today, it's cutting edge and Trinity really are ahead of the curve in this. However, the way these things work, unfortunately, is that pretty soon this will be the standard way that venues are selected. So I think the onus really is on venues now to embrace the tool, to populate it with your very best photographs, your very best marketing material that really make your venue stand out, but also accurate information so that when a buyer comes to do a site visit at your hotel, they've already half seen it and it's accurate. They know what they're going to get. And I think that will really aid conversions as well. The recent government announcements have given an awful lot of optimism, and rightly so. We're all desperate to get out and meet people and go back to some kind of normal. And the way that the phone has been ringing in the last few days has been very, very encouraging. I take a slightly more cautious approach because I think getting back to normal is more than 1 or 2 steps away. I think there's lots to consider. As employees, we're all entitled to go to work in a safe environment. As an employer, the onus is on you to make sure that that environment is safe for everybody. So moving people back to the office is one thing, moving people back to venues, hotels, conference centres is another thing altogether. And this is where I think the venues really have a fantastically big role to play. The more creativity we can see from venues around making things COVID compliant, increasing health and safety, and just general flexible use of space will be a really, really good thing. And that will help us get back to something normal.
Hi, I'm Chris Lester, Event Director at Bauer Media B2B. Like many event organisers, we have had some success with pivoting to virtual events this year, but we can't wait to be able to get back to traditional in-person gatherings again. Here at Bauer, we've now done a bunch of online exhibitions, conferences, seminars, award ceremonies, and strategic meetings across our markets. And what we've found is that pretty consistently, the audience really like them, but they're not in love with them. It's the only option. And the missing element is not surprising. It's that face-to-face networking, shared emotional experience. It's the physical, tangible benefits of live events, what we, organisers, venues and agents thrive upon. Someone said to me the other day, a lot of people do their best work in a room full of others. The blue sky thinking, the brainstorming, these are all so difficult to replicate when everybody is remote. So in short term, we expect to continue with digital events until June, July. We are cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to host outdoor live events in June, but indoor events of scale, probably not until September. That said, we would like to host some smaller gatherings indoors in June. And again, we're quite hopeful. To support us with this, we're going to require clarity right at the start of the inquiry. It will be so frustrating not to be able to show an investor or a stakeholder what a traditional boardroom layout for 24 people will look like under social distancing. So clarity at the point of inquiry is really important. I also expect that the trend of shorter events will continue to become strong, even when we're back in person. So how will venues deal with this? Will you try and wait for a DDR, full day booking, or will you have a flexible approach? Flexible approach is what's needed. And it's a strong partnership that's required between all of us, the organisers, the venues and the agents. And that's why I'm urging a flexible approach more than ever before, not just operationally, but with contracts too. If not, far too many organisations will walk away. And I know it will be so tempting for venues to maximise revenue straight away, to claw back all your lost revenue opportunities. I would be really careful with this approach, as it could be a big mistake. Because as we get back to some kind of normal, a different normal, there will be business analysts and financial directors making the case for less travel, less hospitality, no overnight stays. This will go on and on and on. But if we work together in partnership, in a flexible way, and understand each other better, we can provide a strong business case back to our businesses and get live events back where they belong. So I believe live events will still be the backbone of our business in the future. But the tech solutions will continue after the crisis, and the development in these areas will be really strong. So be prepared for new thinking and much more innovation, smart, fast, and techie like Edge venues. I think corporates will be more time precious than ever before. They will want to do less traveling, so they will embrace technology like they've been doing for the last 12 months. So that's why Edge gives corporates an advantage. It saves time, it saves money, it's smart, it's efficient, and it's effective. It's a solution for many, many organisations.
Thank you again to our clients for giving us some great insights. I'm sure you found them very useful. Now I'd like to welcome Dale Parmenter, the CEO of DRP Group to the couch. And along with Jackie, who will both be representing the agency sector, will give us some insights. So Dan, I'm going to start with you. Where do you feel the budgets will now be spent?
I think we're absolutely going to see a return to live events, and we saw on the video there, a lot of people it's almost that pent-up demand. So I think budgets are absolutely going to be switched back to live events. But in the interim period, we're going to have issues still around the restrictions, around safety. So I think clients are want to know that the venues are safe, but also want the options of where we can join venues together and use more digital.
Thanks. And what about you, Jackie? What are your thoughts on this?
I totally agree with you, and the research is showing that the budgets are tighter, and that's maybe they've got to spread them a lot more with technology and venues, and that's why us all being leaner in terms of business and cost of sale is really, really crucial and critical as our industry grows up a little bit on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you both for that. What do you feel is the delegate experience and expectations in the new norm as we come through this pandemic?
I think it's going to shift and probably be a transition period, but I think actually the delegate experience around hybrid was coming anyway. We'd certainly be doing a lot of work on it in previous years. So the hybrid model where we've got now two audiences, we've got the live audience in the room, in the auditorium, and we've got the audience at home or in hubs or in the office. So while the content is the same, the objectives are the same, the outcome are the same, it's the way we approach that will be very different. So that dual audience experience. Broadcasters have been doing it since the 30s. So it's not new, absolutely not new. And we've now got to adapt the way we run a live event to taking that digital and that remote and those bigger audiences.
And how do you think, resources-wise, is that going to include, are they going to cost more? Are you going to be using more resources on that?
Quite potentially, yes. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. When we look at budgets, we're going to see now more spend on production, more spend on, you may need now 2 production crews, one to look after the live event, one to look after the broadcast element of that event, and then bring them both together. May need more venues. So rather than have one great big venue that we're flying everybody in globally into, which you'd think, well, from a sustainability point of view, that's probably not going to be appropriate going forward. So multiple venues, multiple crews, multiple stage sets, multiple broadcast units. So we may be saving on flights, we may be saving on overnights possibly, but that money will be soaked back up in other areas. So
just picking up slightly on the resources, I mean, what do you think the resources availability is going to be like once we come through the pandemic, or even now?
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of education from our industry out to the clients on this, because you know, the latest research shows that 70% of agencies, event providers, are either they've either disappeared, they've reduced their resource, or they're on the verge of collapse. 50% of freelancers have had to leave the industry and they may never come back. So there's going to be a massive resource shortage with a huge pent-up demand. I think that's going to be, it's almost a perfect storm on its way.
Okay, I mean, that's really interesting. Do you have anything else to add on that, Jackie?
I do, actually. I feel also, whilst we're sitting here, and a lot of our audience are people who are on furlough still from venues, and we haven't even seen half of it yet, for the simple reason that you're losing it in terms of event management people, production people. We're losing it, and really good salespeople in venues, service delivery, operations people who are really highly trained, and we depend heavily on them. Absolutely. And really, we need these people and we need that support. But I suspect it's going to be a really tough challenge for our industry as we go further forward.
I think so, and we've seen the demand already come in since the Prime Minister's announcement last week. I mean, we were hearing venues having huge amount of inquiries coming in. Our inquiry level for live events has gone up as well. And so this thing is starting to build now, but the resource isn't there.
Yeah, well, we've been finding that there's nobody at the hotel level that can give us the level of data that we need. We're having people being offered buffet lunches. And you think, well, that's not COVID secure. You know, you've got to take that into consideration.
Absolutely.
We need expert help now. We cannot dumb down our industry at this stage. No. It's critical that the venues stand up.
It's to ramp up, absolutely got to ramp up.
100%, yes, absolutely.
So Jackie, I mean, we've experienced a lot of collaboration recently, and this is really key at the moment. What role do you think collaboration will play going forward, ensuring the industry returns safely and professionally?
Well, those people that know me and have known me for many, many years know that I like collaboration. I haven't got a problem with it. Dale and I have worked together for many years and collaborating a lot of ideas and a lot of help and support for each other. And I see that only growing further. We've also worked and continue to work with both the MIA and also some other tech platforms like Michael at Venue Directory, because this is our time. This is what we've been working to. And there's no point trying to reinvent the wheel the whole time. If one part of the tech solution is being delivered well through another platform, why not collaborate? It makes much more sense and, again, reduce the waste, reduce the cost of sale and makes life easier for everybody, including the buyers at this stage. Buyers don't want to be confused with different systems for different things. So I see collaboration getting even more and more exciting as we go further on and get rid of the silos.
Absolutely. I think that's one positive thing that's come out of the last 12 months is the level of collaboration. I have a monthly call with a lot of my peers and competitors, which I never ever thought would ever happen. And it's great to inspire each other. We talk about different things, different issues. But I think that supply chain, that's really important, where we can collaborate across. So initially, how are we going to collaborate around safety? We've got testing. You've been through the testing process today.
And we survived.
We're all there, but now we're going to take that and put it into venues. How's that going to work? Logistically, how will that work? We have 1,000 people all sort of turn up for registration, and we now got a 15-minute test for each of them as well. So how is that going to work? So we're working through all of that, but we need to work with the venues and the other suppliers to make that a reality.
Yes, you're absolutely right. We need to ramp it all up. I've also been working direct with 6 other agents throughout all of this time who have been a great support. I have to say it can be a lonely place to be, can't it, at this stage? So lots to happen.
Yeah, there's lots, and that's really interesting. I have one final very quick question, short answer. So how quickly do you expect us to get back to level we were at pre-COVID?
Ooh, that is... I'm not sure we will, because I think it'll be different, because going back to the hybrid solution and the sustainability and the climate change, and I go back to that appropriateness of putting thousands of people on planes and flying them into a central location. I think that was going to disappear anyway. This has advanced it on further. So I don't think we're going to return back to exactly as it was.
I agree. I think it's not the same. It's going to be different. But how quickly do we feel that will return? Are we talking 6 months, 12 months?
Yeah, I wish I had the crystal ball on that. I think
that's why we're here.
I think that March the 17th is a big day, but I don't think we're all of a sudden going to get back into live events that day. I think we heard on the video there September. I think that's a more sensible route, and then a ramp up into 2020. So absolutely, September I think will be busy. There will be shortage. I don't think we're going to be able to deliver everything that all the clients want in that period of time. And then that will continue on into 2022. But there is an absolute pent-up demand for live events. And our research is showing that full on now.
Good news.
People want it.
So, Jackie, have you got anything to add on?
Yeah, I think mid-2022 we should be as close as we can be, but it will be a different world. Like you say, if the resources and the ability to deliver could hold us back in the early part, not necessarily the demand. And I think we need to be savvy. We need to be working together as an industry to be that savvy industry.
Be more efficient.
Exactly.
And offer great productivity for our clients as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw something in here because... this is the great thing about live events. We've got some brilliant questions that have come through, and we're going to leave them till the very end. Tracy's here looking, oh my God. So there's just a couple of questions I will answer because I think they're important. Gareth asked about bespoke accreditations on COVID Secure and how they can be pulled together. I think there is a place for bespoke accreditations on COVID Secure. Edge is going to deliver all that accreditation information to the buyers as they come on board to look for it. So that's really, really important.
Just a quick one on that. I would advise anybody. We've been through it. We've got that systems in place. Make sure you get the medical company, the professionals. We've got a tame professor who worked with the Olympics and girls. So get the professionals in it. Don't just try and do it yourself.
Absolutely. And I think some of these groups are pretty savvy. They're very good. That came from Gareth. So I have no doubt about him delivering some excellent work there. Mark, you asked us about growing direct inquiries. Everything about Edge allows for the corporates and the agents to direct an inquiry to a venue. They don't have to have the managed service. What we're actually finding is that the direct corporates are actually asking for the managed service. So we are promoting a corporates direct, and the more information that's on there, they won't need a managed service. So I would suggest maybe bouncing that right back to you there. Make Edge work on your behalf to get those direct inquiries. We haven't got a problem about that, by the way. Jackie Freer from Absolute, you're absolute right. And this is something we can collaborate on, about the venue contracts, including hybrid. The contracts need to be changed, and you're absolutely spot on there, Jackie. I know you've been doing a lot of work on virtual, and so has Dale on this. So it'd be a lot of getting good heads together within the industry to do that. Employment, Andy, you're absolutely right. We can start seeing the trends, and we can help companies, venue companies, to have a deep insight and a deep dive on those trends. So yes, that's how Edge can help you to understand when the business is going to land. We don't know about the Netherlands, Karis, with regard to how many were tested positive, but we'll look into that and come back to you. We will also be sharing a video of this broadcast along with the slides. And Michael, with regard to venues having hybrid facilities, we're starting to see a lot of that coming out. And that brings us straight in to the next video, because a lot of people who are furloughed are coming straight back into on site at a venue level and are going to be bombarded with hybrid inquiries. So we brought Fiona Robson in from Encore, who deliver both at venue level and for large events and small events. So she's going to give you some top tips, and there is a white paper and a document that she has to follow it up. We'll come back with the wrap up after this. Over to you, Fiona.
Hello, my name is Fiona Robson and I head up commercial for Encore. We deliver events across the whole spectrum, from virtual, hybrid to in-person. And actually last year we delivered over 3,000 hybrid events. Today, I'm going to give you an overview of hybrid and what's important in delivering a successful hybrid event. So firstly, what is hybrid? And there is so much buzz on LinkedIn at the moment. And really it's simple. It's an event that combines a physical, in-person with an online element. And why is it important? Well, first of all, it's all about enabling events to take place again, reconnecting, and meet safely. But it's also the future of events. It's not just a temporary thing. And we'll talk a bit about how the future of hybrid will evolve as well. I'd like to stress, first of all, that hybrid is not actually a new thing. We just didn't call it hybrid before. So a bit like staycations, which are now a thing, although we've always traveled domestically. This, for example, is an event we did in 2015, an investment conference which had iPad apps and delegates dialing in remotely from Asia. So what is hybrid? And I think rather than trying to sell hybrid, our approach is always around understanding what the event's trying to achieve and then how to deliver that. There are so many different types of hybrid events. As we come out of lockdown, they'll start small, but they'll get bigger. And really, it's about understanding the hybrid event that's right for this particular event or customer. So let's start with a simple small meeting. A small group can meet in person, but a hybrid also gives a chance to have remote delegates. Attendees can join remotely and increase the engagement platform if you want to provide more tools for a bigger audience. You can also scale the equipment, more cameras, more lighting, a 360 camera, or you can scale that right up to a studio environment if you really want to make professional impact. A number of hotels have pre-installed studios in their venues, but you don't need to do this, just like you don't need to have a buffet set up in the meeting room. It's really around understanding the needs. How many cameras are required? Do they need a green screen? And what kind of impact are you trying to create? And bigger meetings can be hybrid as well. So apart from the social distancing, this photo really doesn't look much different from a normal event. But now you can expand the audience. Delegates can dial remotely. Your CEO plenary can now be made available to the whole company, not just to the delegates. You have new opportunities for remote presenters to dial in during the conference, just like we're seeing a bit more on TV at the moment. It's also about larger events, and these may not be hybrid now, but we're going to see massive innovation in this space as the parallel experience for the remote delegates becomes improved. Virtual reality, gamification, parallel tracks where delegates can choose whether they attend in person or remotely, and there's a big future on this side of hybrid. And then lastly, hybrid opens up a whole set of new dimensions and possibilities, such as the opportunity to join together different rooms and locations. So last week in the US, for example, we did an event for 100 people, which was split over 2 different rooms in order to maintain social distancing. So they joined the same event, but apart. It's also the future of domestic meetings and the ability to join regions together. So you can enable delegates to meet their colleagues in their own country, but also bring different locations, Dubai, London, together for combined sessions. And there are also opportunities in different areas like marketing, where you can record events and use that for additional purposes, or sponsorship, where you can get more reach for sponsors using the remote audiences and the engagement tools that you have. So really, how do you think about selling a hybrid event? And I'm going to come back to what I said at the beginning. It's all about purpose of the event. And actually understanding purpose is even more important than with a non-hybrid event, because there are more elements. So let's just think about that. Before hybrid, in planning a meeting, you needed to think about the content, the location for the event and the services that you needed, how you'd manage the event, and how to get there. With hybrid, you really got a whole number of more additional elements. So for example, the platform and tools. What engagement tools do you need? Do you need heat maps? Do you need polling? What kind of platform capabilities? The experience that you're creating, the level of professionalism, the green screen, the studio, the cameras, the lighting. The content. The content is more complex because you have digital and physical content. Connectivity starts to play in. Do you have the bandwidth that you need? Where are the presenters located? And of course, safety goes across all of those elements. And how do you decide? Well, if you've got high remote delegates and a long meeting, you're going to need more platform capabilities and more engagement tools. If the purpose of the meeting is really about reconnecting, you're going to need to focus more on the physical environment, the menu, the drinks. If it's a product launch, you're going to need more on experience, more impact, more content, more branding, more professional streaming. So the key thing to think about is really how you vary these different elements to get the right blend of hybrid for your particular event. If you need some more information on hybrid, we have our hybrid handbook available on the Encore website, plus a series of educational webinars which are running currently. And if you'd like to reach out to me, please feel free to email if I can support with any questions or connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, Fiona. And it's great. The key thing there is know when to bring an expert in, but equally have a look at what you can do from in-house as well. But I would suggest have a look at those webinars as the suppliers. I certainly think we will be doing so. So we've come to the end of our session today. I want to thank you all for joining us. We are probably the 3 most nervous people on the couch today. I hope you've enjoyed it, seeing us suffer. But genuinely, we've enjoyed being here with you. We want to bring our industry back. We have to plan. We have to take a stab and put a date in a diary, which is what we did. And here we are today on the same day as the budget. So we've got lots happening today. However, final word to the industry. Richard, what would you like to wrap up with?
I think after an immensely tough last 12 months, I think the onus really going forward will be on efficiency and cost saving for all stakeholders across the sector. Therefore, I'd invite buyers from the corporate and agency sector to use Edge, use the site for the wealth of information and the ease of inquiry that it delivers, and for the venues themselves to embrace the site so that they can reduce their cost of sale and ultimately to increase conversions.
Great. I like that sound. I'm a great believer in increasing conversions. Tracy, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'm really passionate about this industry, and by continuing collaboration and support, I really do believe we're going to come back stronger. So ensure you are fit for the future and use all the tools that are available to you at the moment to ensure your venue stands out to the crowd and build the confidence in your buyers.
Great. Well, Edge is built by the industry for the industry, and there's no better time than us all joining together from all our sectors, wherever we sit on the supply chain, to get together and build a superb future for ourselves, fitter for the future and doing better business. Thank you again. Thank you very much to Dale and the team. Kerry here has been fantastic at DRP Group. They were really amazing to work with. And thank you to all the team at Trinity who have painstakingly gone through all of our videos over the last week so they could relax today. And of course, our lovely Edge team. We look forward to meeting you all in person and doing some great business together. Thank you very much indeed. The video and the questions will all be answered and available in the next few days. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.